I never liked the Young Turks. They always seemed like progressive CNN. I've always thought Cenk was an insufferable douchebag. Sometimes, once in a blue moon, I'll agree with a point that TYT makes whenever I feel like watching a video they make, which is very, very rare, but usually I try to avoid the Young Turks like the plague because I never, ever, ever liked that channel. But recently, Cenk tweeted something that was very yikesy. So recently, Trump made a tweet advocating for the elimination of sanctuary cities, payroll taxes, and perhaps, in his own words, capital gains taxes because he feels that it is unfair that red states now have to bail out blue states that are being hit hard by the coronavirus, and he feels like the coronavirus is being used as a bullshit justification to bail out these said blue states because typically they contribute more to taxes because red states are typically poorer than blue states, and they usually receive more from the federal government than they contribute. Because again, red states are typically poorer than the blue states, and much of what they receive from the federal government are taxes from said blue states that are richer than these red states. Anyway, I'm not really going to talk about what Trump said, but what Cenk tweeted in response to what Trump said is honestly fucking reprehensible. Let's read it, shall we? If we had a Democrat with balls when we take over, they'd cut off funding to red states and make them beg for their handout. Almost all of them are welfare queens who live off the blue states. Republican-run states are on average miserable failures who make more from federal government. Wow. Talk about mask off. Jesus Christ. Cenk, it's easy for you to say this in your comfortable home. I believe you're worth about a couple of million, so something like this coming from a rich liberal elite is not surprising at all to me, but still, aren't you like a huge Bernie Sanders supporter? Aren't you a proponent for things like Medicare for all, things that would greatly benefit the poor? Like, dude, you just exposed yourself. Your complete lack of empathy for the poor is on full display here on this tweet. Anyway, this tweet is just yet another perpetuation of the negative stereotype of welfare recipients as quote-unquote welfare queens, a term that originated from rich politicians trying to smear welfare recipients as African-American mothers just having more and more children just to live off welfare so they won't have to actually work for a living. Just stupid stereotypes trying to smear those who are less fortunate in this country and need assistance because they are less fortunate because they committed the egregious crime of, well, being poor. Like, Cenk, you do realize that these red states that you want to cut off funding for don't just comprise of white racist Republican voters, right? There's also large populations of people of color who are Democrat voters that you would be cutting off funding to as well, because a lot of these people are welfare recipients. So basically, what you're advocating for is cutting off the funding of red states because, oh noes, most of the population votes Republican, but you're still going to be fucking over those who are loyal to the party that you are a part of and vote Democrat in every election and are people of color and need assistance from the government because they are not well off. But no, fuck them. They chose to live in a red state, so they deserve to be punished. Like, I get it, dude. I fucking hate Republicans. I hate most conservatives. I can't fucking stand the right, but I'm never, ever, ever going to advocate for cutting off funding for these states because much of these states are poorer states, and these people deserve to have some sort of assistance, even if their ideas may be fucking egregious, because I don't believe in cutting off the money that helps them put food on the table and helps them keep a roof over their heads, just barely. And also, what about these people's children? They didn't fucking do shit. They didn't do anything to deserve having their family's welfare money being cut off because, oh no, they may be Republican or they're just living in a red state. And this is a mentality that I so wish would die in this country. These people deserve our help. They should not have their revenue be cut off. And sure, maybe some people do abuse welfare. Okay, there are definitely people out there who abuse welfare. Sure, but there are still plenty of families who do legitimately deserve welfare, and they deserve your empathy, and they deserve the money that they receive just to get by. Like, I am so tired of the complete lack of empathy for the poor in this country, and I thought Cenk was better than this, honestly. Like, I never liked the dude, I always thought he was a douchebag, but I thought he legitimately did care about the poor, because again, he championed policies from Bernie Sanders that would greatly benefit the poor. But no, you're just a quote-unquote progressive elite that is completely fine with keeping the poor poor. In fact, you'd be completely fine with making the poor even poorer, and you pretty much just expose yourself as a classist and possibly a racist when you use terms like welfare queen. And there's also a good chunk of sexism there too, let's not forget that. So, Jake, continue to pretend that you're all for the working class on your show, but now people know the truth. That you're just a classist fucking moron, and you're just an out of touch elite that does not fucking care about the working class. Because if you truly did care about the working class, you would not advocate for cutting off federal funding for these red states that need government money the most. Because it seems like you're all for helping the working class and consider yourself an ally of the working class, until some people in the working class may have ideas that differ from your own or are affiliated with a political party that you are not a part of. So in that case, fuck them. They don't deserve any help whatsoever. Or if they live in a state that is mostly comprised of people who are affiliated with a different political party from your own, that is not your own, then fuck them. They don't deserve help at all. You're a fake ally and are not a supporter of the working class by any stretch of the imagination if you would willingly tweet something like this. Again, just continue to pretend that you care about the poor when it's pretty fucking obvious that you don't. Anyway, fuck Cenk Uygur, fuck TYT, that's all I have to say. Bye-bye.